Sharing is Caring event is something that we put together because we want to share all of the great ideas that are happening within Europe and within the drowning prevention. And it can basically be anything that you are doing within the different countries. And today we chose 2 things to share. So that is what we're going to start with. If you have anything that you feel this could be great to share, it being your own thing, it can also be something that you've seen from someone else, then please email me and we will send out my email afterwards. So there are not many participants within the meeting, so the ones who are here, you can ask question, but the question will be when we finished with the 2 presenters for today. So please note your questions down and then we will take them in the end. And the first presenter, Linda. Yes, welcome.
Yes, thank you.
The scene will be yours and I will unmute myself so I won't interrupt you. Thank you.
Thank you. And then I share my PowerPoint. Yes, you can see it. Yes, perfect. My name is Linda Melander and I will tell you about the Junior Lifeguard program in Norway. It all started with an idea in 2019. Me and Claire Alfonso looked at the Junior Lifeguard program in other countries as the United States and Australia. And then we took some ideas from the programs in the other countries and developed our own program suitable for the Norwegian conditions. The Norwegian Junior Lifeguard program is a program for children and youth aged 6 to 14 years old. 1 week in the summer holiday. We wanted the program to include the Norwegian curriculum, first aid, risk assessment, prevention, social activities, life-saving sport and water safety. We wanted it to fit indoor as well as outdoor, pool and ocean. The goal for this program is to learn about water safety, drowning prevention, life-saving technique, first aid, have fun with in and outside the water, get new friends and get interested in the life-saving sport. We wanted this to be an outdoor activity by the beach, but we also wanted to try the program indoor in a pool. Finding instructors. We found the instructors in local life-saving clubs, schools, and local swimming clubs. We wanted the instructors to be certified, so we developed a 3-day theoretical and practical course. The instructors learn the program, activities, prevention, risk assessment, first aid, and learn how to be an instructor for children. The age of the instructors are 15 to 18 years old. We also wanted a coordinator over 18 years old on each location. The coordinator has the responsibility for safety and coordinating activities and coordinating the instructors. For this job, we use life-saving instructors from local clubs, or we educate others to be a life-saving instructor. The journey. We had the program every year from 2020 to 2025. As you can see, it's growing. The first year, we cooperated with a municipality called Bærum, a place nearby Oslo. We had 40 children in the program in one beach. In 2025, we cooperated with 5 local life-saving clubs, 1 swimming club in different areas of Norway. All years from 2020 to 2025, the program for the children was for free because we got some money from different foundations in Norway. We have up to 20 children and 6 instructors and 1 coordinator on each location each week. Yes, this is a typical day in the Junior Lifeguard program. But we might switch the program due to the weather. If the weather report say it's going to be rain in the afternoon and some sun in the morning, we have the outdoor activities in the morning. But as I said, this is a typical day. We start with registration and checking in the children. And then we have some games and activities, and that can be indoor or outdoor, depending on the weather. It can be frisbee, beach sprint, ball activities, memory, playing cards, and so on. And then we have some lunch, and the children bring their own lunch in this program. After lunch, we go to the beach or the pool. We talk, oh, sorry, I forgot the first aid. We have the first aid as well. For example, the children learn how to prevent sunburn and what to do when you got a sunburn. Talking about your own safety in water, on the beach, at the swimming pool, and so on. We talk about drowning prevention and how to handle a situation. And then after lunch, we go to the beach or the pool, talking about and learn about risk assessment, learning how to use a life buoy, try equipment in the water, learning how to go safe in and out of the water, try out some of the exercises in life-saving sport, as like rescue board, rescue tube, and so on. And then at the end of the day, we have some fruit and some summary of the day. A group of children and some instructors together prepare and serve the fruit to the others. And we have some summary talking about the day, the activities, and talking about what they learned that day. Now I will show you some safety and some activities. Here you can see outdoor activities. You can see the colorful rush guards, so we can see the children in the water. What you can't see is that we always have 1 instructor on the beach as well as in the water, and that's for their safety. In the picture, you can also see paddle boards, rescue boards, and other equipment we use in the program. Indoor activities. This is Hans Christian in a colorful swim cap. It's for the same reason as the colorful rush guards. It's for their safety. For the first aid activities, we can be activities indoor or outdoor. And what you can see here is CPR and the 2 pictures, the one in the middle and to the right. We have some fake blood for a more realistic activity. So now you will hear one of our youngest instructors telling you about her experience of the Junior Lifeguard program this summer.
Hi, my name is Nora, and last summer I worked my first year in the Junior Lifeguard program. I worked 1 week in an indoor swimming pool and 1 week at the beach. I applied for this job because I wanted to learn responsibility and how to help people in water, and especially teach young kids on what to do when a crisis happens. During the summer, I learned important skills like first aid, teamwork, and how to stay calm in stressful situations. I also learned how to handle these stressful situations, which is very important. And I also learned how important it is to pay attention all the time and always be on guard when you are in the water or you're watching someone who's in the water. I've told some of my friends and classmates about this job, and they think it sounds very exciting and important. I've also used what I learned in other situations, such as when I'm swimming with friends, or in my day job, where I am a swim instructor at my local pool and I teach young kids swimming, like the basics of swimming. And this job has given me a lot of good experience, and it is very important, and I would very much like to continue the program in the future. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you for listening to my presentation. So,
Thank you so much, Linda. And if anybody has any question, please put them down and we will take them when we've heard the next presentation. And for the ones who joined during Linda's presentation, this is recorded. So if you don't want to be on screen, you can send questions in the chat. So the next presentation is Roger. And we see
Hi,
you, Roger.
good morning.
I will give you the screen.
Thanks very much, Maria. Hello, everybody. A quick 10-minute introduction to a resource that we call Hold Hands. It's a resource that we created for early learning centres or creches in Ireland. And as part of that, I just want to give you a very brief introduction to set the scene on how this actually took place and where it came from. And it is as a result of a phone call I received from this lady, Amanda Cambridge, who suffered a terrible tragedy when her son Avery drowned in a swimming pool on holidays, and she really wanted to help in any way she could. And at the time, our organization was looking at ways in which we might provide education resources to early learning centres. And Amanda was very gracious with her time, essentially to become an ambassador, if you will, to help to promote the resources that our education team within Water Safety Ireland got together to develop. And essentially those efforts by Amanda really helped to encourage early learning centres and indeed parents to ask early learning centres to take the programme on board. She really was an inspiration, and she did many TV, radio, and newspaper interviews because she felt so strongly that this is such an important piece for children, you know, especially because, as we say in Water Safety Ireland, it's never too early to learn water safety. We've taken a whole of life perspective, so we have resources for every sector or every stage of a person's life. So this is the first one. So what is it? Well, as you can see, Amanda here did a lot of press and came along to launch this resource, which got ministerial support. And what does it consist of? Well, you can see Amanda holding up a pointing device and a colorful page. I just wanted you to see the size of the page, because those pages, they are held and they're laminated. So we hope they'll last for a number of years. So the child holds this page and they gather in circles and they point out what is safe and what is unsafe. And for this reason, the child engages deeply with the story and gets immersed in the story. And on the back of these pages is a very important piece of information which empowers the educator to teach the topics that are on the colourful images. And these are the areas that we focused on: pool, beach, the river, home, farms and holidays. And they are quite specific to many of us, are familiar to many of us, but specific to Ireland because we have such a vast network of rivers. Our top 3 rivers extend to over 3,000 kilometres, and indeed our lakes, we have about 12,000 lakes, so we have a lot of water. So this is an example of the swimming pool version, and as you cast your eye around, I'm sure you will see hazards and safe practices that are familiar to you, but these may not be familiar to the educator. And that can be a problem when you ask educators to talk about water safety, because sometimes they feel that they don't have the knowledge. So on the back of these, as I said a moment ago, we listed some very simple tips. And we need to remember that the educator is delivering to children who are approximately 2 to 5 years of age, approximately. So this is the back of it is colorful. You know, these are discussion points. This is not rocket science and it is not very deep. It just needs to cover the basics. And so these are prompts to help the educator cover the basics with these groups of young children looking at the images. But as well as that, then there are lesson plans for the educators as well. And all of these are available on the website. This lesson plan, for example, will give the young children, the very young children, these 4 basic pieces of knowledge. And so looking at the structure of the lesson, you can see here that they are very basic discussion topics, but again, it's simply to ensure that a child begins to think about water safety before they even begin our series of swimming and life-saving classes in pools around the country. And you can see here, you know, it continues into these points here. And I'd encourage you to look at holdhands.ie to look at these in more detail. And then there's some activities that people can do, the educators can do around drama and role play. And many of us use Simon Says as a game in Ireland and elsewhere, but Lifeguard Says could be an interesting twist to that, and some arts and crafts as well from the storyboard, and creating some of those posters themselves is something that is popular with the educators, and indeed using other resources that we have as well to complement the cards. Messy play is very popular as well, and that's everything from blowing bubbles, using straws, having toys in the water that the children can reach down with and take them out and talk about the hazards as they do this. It's quite engaging. And so this is an example of the card for home safety. Again, the hazards will be familiar to many of you. And again, at home, we just picked out about 6 things that should be told to these very young children. Again, these cards can be used at home and not just in the early learning centres that receive them in the post. So just to remind you that it covers home, on the farm, at the pool, and we've used very simple, colourful cartoons that we've tested with the young children. The rivers, the beach, and the holidays. And just to let you know that we are actually testing the entire resource at the moment. We have a consultant looking at it to make sure that it's working effectively around the country. And that's an example of the beach. These are the 5 steps within the lesson that the basic safety principles that a child can learn. And that's an example of the messy play taking place in an early learning centre. And as I say, an example would be even to speak in terms of drama and role play. What does the lifeguard wear? What is the lifeguard's job? To make these very young children aware that a lifeguard exists and to think about what they need to do to stay safe. What do you need to pack in your bag to go to the beach? What do you need to stay safe? For example, sunscreen. And then in terms of arts and crafts, building and designing lifeguard huts, painting them, drawing them, that type of thing. And then the messy play, as I showed you in the previous image. So if you need any more information about this resource, and indeed, if anybody wishes to use these resources, you're more than welcome to take the files. You'll see the information on holdhands.ie. And that is it. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Roger. So, Linda, will you turn on your camera also? And if anybody else wants to be on camera, you are more than welcome to when doing the questions, but you are also welcome to just stay hidden if you don't want to be recorded. I love these 2 different perspectives on how to engage different age group of children. And Linda, how old were the children's in yours?
6 to 14.
6 to 14. Okay,
Yes.
and Roger's were 2 to 5 approximately. So we cover quite a great range of age in these 2 different things. That's amazing. And if anybody have questions that you don't want to say on camera, you can now put them in the chat and I will read them out. But I have a question first for Linda. You talked a little bit about the funding from different organizations.
Yes.
So is the complete funding from other places, or do the kids also pay to join the class?
No, it's for free.
Okay, so how do they apply to join the class?
We have it online, and you can just, the first 20 on each location, go to a place in the program.
Okay, thank you. I also have something for you, Roger. And first I want to say that the way you formulate the things on the back of the paper in the positive way, I really love that, because I think that talks into the way our mind works. So I really love that. I'm curious, is the people teaching this, they're not necessarily educated water safety people. It can just be anybody, right?
Yes, exactly, Mariette. On the contrary, some of them openly said that they were afraid to talk about water safety because they were afraid that they would say the wrong thing, or indeed that they didn't have the knowledge to begin with. So that's why we kept it very simple. It doesn't need to be complicated, and it needs to be fun and engaging. We don't need to scare these children, and these educators. Many of them do have water safety knowledge, of course, and came through many of the classes that we have around the country, but many of them don't. And really, if we're going to change the culture, if we're going to ensure that children feel this, that they respect the risk, but they enjoy the water, that then we have to engage in a positive, friendly manner with them and tell them about the risks, but definitely ensure that we don't instill a fear. We need to convert that unhealthy fear of water into a healthy respect for all aquatic environments. And certainly I think this program is very effective at doing that so far. But we are in the midst of engaging with consultants to look at that and critique it. So it'll be interesting to see what comes back, but certainly it's been very positive so far from the educators.
Yeah, and that was actually my next question, because I think when you got some feedback, I think maybe this could be another presentation in here to see, because I think this is quite similar to what other people have been doing that I've seen out there, not as extensive as you've been doing it, but the part about teaching something to people without being near the water. So it will be great to see what feedback you get when you've been. How many did you send it out to?
4,000.
4,000. Amazing. Looking forward for the results. Then there's a question for both of you. What information do you give to parents, and are they involved in any way in the lessons? And we'll start with Linda.
Okay, I send it. We're sending out some papers to the parents in advance, telling them about the program and give some practical information. And the first day, we also, at the start of the day, we talk to the parents and give some more information. Yes.
Thank you. And Roger, the same question.
Yeah, I think Amanda Cambridge herself has been fundamental in raising awareness and encouraging parents, because I mean, it's an unbelievable tragedy, but she has turned that tragedy into something that she has been able to work with on a personal level, to engage with parental groups and other organizations and social media and the media itself. I mean, she's been a fundamental piece in encouraging parents, because I think parents listen to other parents. You know, they feel and empathize with the tragedy, and Amanda's appeal is genuine. It's completely genuine. So we don't look for numbers of likes and that business. We look for engagement. And Amanda has been absolutely fantastic in terms of engaging with others and going the extra mile to encourage them. So of course we make the usual items available. We sent it to early learning centres, but equally we made sure that we created a website that can be accessible to parents, so they can download these resources. So that, and they're very simple, very basic website. It doesn't need to be complicated. But that other piece to encourage parents is has been a wonderful piece from Amanda as an ambassador. You know,
I think it could be very interesting to also measure the effect that the children have on the parents. So when the children learns about life saving with Linda, or the kids learn about the holding hands, we know that kids bring these things back, but can we measure in any way how that will affect the minds of the parents for their safety? I mean, that would be maybe quite difficult, but I think it's important to have in mind that you're not only affecting the kids, you're also affecting their adults, maybe their grandparents, maybe their teachers. So it's affecting a lot of people. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah, we conducted a national consumer survey ourselves and some of that piece was addressed within it. For example, that we did find that approximately 90% of, now this was a national consumer survey, so the entire country, 90% of respondents considered water safety to be an important, necessary life skill. So now that increased. We've been doing these since 2017, so it has been on the increase. However, I just can't get it out of my mind that 10% of people still don't think that water safety is terribly important as a necessary life skill. So we will continue to target those. But we've seen these programs with road safety 30 years ago, when children learned about road safety and the importance of wearing seatbelts. They came home to their parents and told them that it was important to wear a seatbelt. Just as now they come home to parents and tell them it is important that we are supervised. It is important that we wear a life jacket and so on. And if I may, Toril has put a good question in there before it disappears in the chat. Do the nursery teachers have enough competence to take children regularly out to streams, lakes, beaches, etc.? And I just want to go back to what you yourself, Maria, said, that this is a classroom-based program, Toril, that this is all about engaging with the child before they leave the early learning centre, so that when they do go with their parents and guardians, that they have at least an awareness of how to be safe.
I liked what you said about the measurements that you did, that 90% thinks that water safety is important. The number is similar in Denmark, but I also think there's a huge difference in what people believe is water safety. For one example, we have a municipality that just built a school and a early early learning center, where the playground is right at the water. So, and there's no fence. And they said, well, there's an invisible line, and the kids will learn that they cannot go further than this line. And they compared it to that we have a lot of schools that have the same with the roads. So we are some people arguing that, well, the water just doesn't forgive. So if the kid goes in the water, it can be like there's nothing to do almost if the teacher doesn't know what to do, because there's no requirement for lifeguards on the playground. So the kids have the access to, and they say that, well, we're doing this because we want water safety to be part of the children's daily life. And that I like, but the way they do it is in a way that I think we're not the same place in interpreting what water safety is. So that is quite interesting, the measurement that you do with 90% thinks that water safety is important, but what is water safety? So that was, yeah. There's a question interested about the transfer of learning. So this could be a good follow-up. I think that's compared to what you said, Roger, to follow up, how can this be transferred into seeing what happens when they then go to the lakes or to the beaches. Yeah. Any other questions for Roger or Linda? No. Do you have any last comments? Something that came up during the questions? No.
Toril is writing something.
Toriel is writing. Let's see.
Yes.
And meanwhile, Toriel is writing a question. Then this is because the headline is sharing is caring. So if anybody watching this or rewatching it, then feel free to reach out to Linda, Roger, or me. And also, if you have something that you want to present, I already said that, then please do afterwards, because this is what it's all about.
Yes.
Yes, and there was another question.
Yes.
Do the same children come each year?
Sometimes, some of them, but not everyone, but some of them. I don't have the figures about it, but it's some of the children come back. In fact, one of the first years we had a child and a youth, and he's now working as a lifeguard. So we have some of those who has been on the junior lifeguard program and then went working as a lifeguard as well in our organization. So,
That's amazing.
and some
Thank
of the young instructors in the junior lifeguard program also work when they turn 18. They work at the beach as a lifeguard as well. So it's good for the recruitation as well.
Inspiring young people to do water safety.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. And we get them young with Roger, and then we take them along the entire way and keep them in the loop of water safety. Amazing. Thank you so much.